I haven't been excited for a sandwich like this in a really long time. This is gonna be an epic bite. My mouth is watering. Holy f. Life's too short to not eat delicious sandwiches, and we are right in the middle of tomato season. So let's take these tomatoes and make the most amazing BLT you've ever had, where the tomatoes are gonna be the star. To complete this epic sandwich, we're gonna take some Caesar dressing from our Caesar salad video. We're gonna add some basil, and this is gonna be the perfect condiment to make this sandwich next level. For the full ingredient list, check the description box below, but enough talking, let's get cooking. To get this recipe started, let's make some bacon, and the best way to make bacon is in the oven and not in a frying pan. So let's take this bacon and let's put this on a baking tray. I got my baking tray aligned with aluminum foil and parchment paper to save on cleanup. There's nothing that will destroy a baking tray like making bacon in the oven. Let's take this bacon and spread it out on this baking sheet. I have my oven preheated to 400. You could make the bacon on the stove, but it's just so much easier to make in the oven. The cleanup is really easy. You can make way more at the same time, and it just comes out just as good, if not even better than in the pan. So I'm gonna spread these bacon strips on the baking sheet nice and evenly. And these are gonna go in our preheated oven for about 10 to 15 minutes until they're nice and crispy and golden. Next up, we're gonna take some of this Caesar salad dressing. If you've seen my Caesar salad video, I made this right inside the jar with the immersion blender, all from scratch. It's got a lot of great flavors in there. Garlic, the umami from the anchovies, loaded with Parmesan cheese. And this would be such an amazing condiment to put on the sandwich instead of boring old mayo. But to make it a little bit more centric to the sandwich and a little bit more seasonal, we're gonna take some of this fresh basil from my garden. I'm gonna chop it up and I'm gonna mix it right into this dressing. If you haven't seen my video, I'll throw a link there, and I'll also throw one in the description below. So now to cut this basil, I'm gonna take it and pinch it all together, and I'm gonna try to cut it as finely as possible. So the leaves are all pushed together, and now I'll take a nice sharp knife and I'll try to cut this as finely as I can until we get down to the stems. And now from here, I'm just gonna go one more time through just to get this into nice, small, little pieces that's gonna incorporate really nicely and give its flavor right into the Caesar salad dressing. Into the jar, the basil goes. And now all these flavors work together. Even just cutting the basil and smelling the Caesar salad dressing, this smells so good. Now to mix it, I'm just gonna stir it just right in. It smells so good, like Parmesan-y, garlicky, and now basil. So let's stick this back in the fridge, and now let me show you the tomatoes. So here's a variety of heirloom tomatoes that I did not buy at the store. These are right out of my garden. So nothing is better than tomatoes right out of the garden. I mean, these things are absolutely delicious, and the perfect thing to do with them to really highlight how amazing they are is make a delicious sandwich. So let's pick a few. I think these funny looking tomatoes really make good sandwich tomatoes, and we'll stick a yellow one in there, and we'll also take a nice red one too, and we'll cut these all up. These I'll save for later. So when you're cutting tomatoes for a sandwich, never cut the tomato this way. You always want to turn the tomato on its side and cut it through the bottom of the tomato, not through the top. So we're gonna slice this nice and thin, maybe about 1/8 of an inch, maybe 1/4 inch thick. Not too thin that the water runs out of the tomatoes, but like, look how amazing this tomato looks. Absolutely unbelievable. And when you cut the tomato like this, it holds together a little bit better than if you cut it the other way. It tends to fall apart. Let's cut a bunch of thick slices. This tomato is called a lemon boy tomato. Also just really nice, super beautiful. And I love contrasting the different colors of the tomatoes. Not only they have unique flavors, the colors are really important too, because before we eat with our mouth, we eat with our eyes. The little end pieces of the tomato, they might not make it into the sandwich, but they are unbelievable little chef snacks. Sprinkle on some nice crunchy salt and enjoy your little chef snack while you're preparing these delicious sandwiches. Adding that little pinch of salt really makes a tomato flavor pop. And even this ugly, funky looking tomato. I mean, look how amazing that looks. I get amazed every time I cut the inside of these. Sometimes the tomato stem will cut into the tomato, especially the odd shaped ones. You can just cut that right out. And now we have a just nice slice of tomato without that hard stem part. I could probably even get another slice out of here. And another little chef snack for me. We're going all out on this BLT, so let's add some avocado. Avocado pairs really nicely with all the components inside the sandwich. So to cut the avocado, we're gonna cut it in half. We're gonna split the avocado, and now let's peel it because we're gonna cut it down into slices. Really take your time peeling the avocado. This is one of the things you gotta really take your time with and not rush, otherwise you can completely destroy it. And now to slice the avocado, just take your nice sharp knife and just pull it into slices all the way through the peeled avocado with the cut side down. And then it flattens out very nicely with nice slices to put on top of our sandwich. Now let's talk bread. The bread selection for a sandwich is super important. Here I have this white sourdough. This is a great bread with a lot of nooks and crannies for that dressing to go inside. And it's also durable enough that once we toast it, it'll really hold up to the sogginess of everything that we're gonna put in it. So while our bacon's cooking, I'm just gonna throw this in the oven so it starts to brown up. The last component we're gonna add is some lettuce. So here I got some beautiful butter lettuce. So it's not too crunchy because I want other things to be crunchy like the bread and the bacon. So this butter lettuce is just delicate enough to add a nice lettuce component without overpowering any of the other components of this epic, epic sandwich. So our bacon is all done. We're gonna take the bacon and we're gonna put it on top of a plate with some paper towel. So the paper towel is gonna absorb any of the excess bacon, but look how perfect this bacon gets cooked in the oven with just very, very little effort. I just put the bacon on the sheet, threw it in the oven, pulled it out. No flipping, no big mess, no splattering. And as the bacon cools on the paper towel, it'll get a little crispy and it'll also soak up any of that excess grease. And now to clean up the baking tray, I just take some paper towel and I'll put it inside to just absorb any of the excess grease that's inside there. And then we just pick up our aluminum foil and our parchment paper, fold it up. Now we don't have a pan full of bacon grease. So our bread is just a little toasted. I like it where I had to see one side is a little bit toasted than the other. You can see these two sides are the toasted side, so these are gonna be the outside. The less toasted sides are gonna be the inside. Now let's start building this epic sandwich. To season these tomatoes, we're gonna go a little bit more than just some salt. First, we're gonna take some olive oil and we'll pour that right over the top. And now we're gonna do the same with just a little balsamic vinegar. The vinegar is gonna add a nice acidic component and really make the flavor of the tomatoes super pop. Now a pinch of salt, maybe two, and some fresh ground black pepper. So now that all of our components are ready, let's build this epic tomato BLT-ish sandwich. Let's start off with our Caesar basil dressing, aioli, whatever you want to call it. So we'll put that right on the bottom. And when you're building a sandwich, you got to make sure you're always thinking about that every bite of the sandwich is going to have all the components in there. So now let's take a couple pieces of this lettuce and layer it right on top. I like to trim the lettuce so it matches the shape of the bread. Now let's add a couple of slices of these seasoned tomatoes. And here we're gonna alternate some of these amazing colors. There's a nice big piece will go right there. Actually, maybe we could turn this one and get one more yellow one going this way. Now we'll take the whole avocado, we'll put that, or the half of avocado, we'll put that right on top. A couple slices of this bacon. The bacon is the perfect length for the bread that we chose. Matches it absolutely perfectly. And now on this top slice, a little bit more of our dressing. Now, how amazing does this sandwich look? I haven't been excited for a sandwich like this in a really long time. Now take a look at how amazingly epic this sandwich looks. My mouth is watering just holding this sandwich. I don't think I've ever been this excited to try a sandwich before. Oh my God. So before we eat this, let's cut it in half. I mean, look at the cross section of this sandwich. We got our crunchy bread, the bacon, the avocado, those seasoned tomatoes, the lettuce, more dressing on the other side. This is going to be an epic bite. I am so excited to try it. My mouth is watering. Holy f***. That is so good. I don't want to say another word. I just want to take another bite of this. The idea to use the Caesar dressing for this sandwich instead of boring old mayo was a great idea. Parmesan, garlic, plus the basil, plus the tomato. I mean, these flavors could not be any more perfect, and this completely highlights the amazing versatility and delicious flavor of these tomatoes. Oh my God, look how delicious this looks. Tomatoes are only really good for a short period of time. We are in that time right now. So if you can get your hands on some delicious heirloom tomatoes, not that garbage that they sell at the supermarket all year round. I mean, this is so good. Every single bite is just out of this world. I'm gonna finish this entire sandwich. It's super sloppy, so I can't put it down. While I'm eating the rest of this sandwich, if you're into sloppy sandwiches, check out my take on In-N-Out's Flying Dutchman burger with the onion bun. It's super sloppy, but super delicious, just like this sandwich. I will see you there.